Hello, fifth graders. Today we're going to go over properties of multiplication, how to estimate products, and some multiplication. So the first one is properties of multiplication, and the problem says which property of multiplication is shown. So over here I listed the different properties of multiplication. So the first one is distributive, and it says, and I wrote the formula for it over here. So it's saying A times B minus A times C equals A quantity, B minus C quantity. So you could also do the same, except this time with a plus sign. And then if you have a plus sign on the left side, you'll end up with a plus sign on the right side. Next, we have the zero property, and it says A times 0 equals 0. So anything times 0, any number times 0 will always be equal to 0. And then we have a commutative, which means A times B equals B times A. So no matter the order you multiply them, it will always be equal to each other. And then the second to last is associative, which says A times B times C equals A times B times C. So this one, the parentheses plays a major role in it. It's just saying wherever you put the parentheses, no matter where, it will always be equal to each other. And then the last one is identity property, saying anything times 1 will always be equal to anything. It will be equal to itself. Now for number 1, 7 times 1 equals 7. Now what is the best property that exhibits this, that is shown in this equation? And identity will be your best answer, which means anything equal to itself will be equal to anything multiplied by 1 will equal to itself. Now the rest, you just have to know the formula for these properties and you'll be fine. Now the second part we're going to go over is how to estimate product. It says estimate the product. Round each factor to the nearest 10 from number 1 through 5 and nearest 100 from number 5 through 10. Then multiply. So I'm going to go for one question in 1 through 5 and another question in 5 through 10. I think they meant 6 through 10. And then, so for number 2, it says 34 times 83 is approximately, and then we got to first round to the nearest 10. So 34 rounded to the nearest 10 will be just 30, because 40, the number right of it, is less than 5. So 83 will be rounded to 80 when you round to the tens, and then that will be 30 times 80. Now from the previous lesson, if you know, 30 times 80 is easily 8 times 0, which is 24, and there's 2 zeros, so it'd be 2,400. Pretty simple. Now for number 9, it's the same thing, except we round to the hundreds now. Since 8 is greater than or equal to 5, it'll be 1,000. 3 is less than 5, so it's just 700. Now we're multiplying these together, so 1 times 7 is 7, and there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So you should get 700,000. Now the third section is multiplying 2 digit by 2 digit. So I'm just going to go over number 2 together, since this should be a review. So you place these numbers vertically on top of each other, with the ones place matching the ones place, and the tens matching the tens place. Now from here, you just have to do 2 times 2 and 2 times 7 first. Now 2 times 2 is 4, so I place it here. 7 times 2 is 14. Now 14 is a 2 digit, but it does not matter because it's the last one. So you place it like this. Now we're going to do 5 times 2 and then 5 times 7. 5 times 2 is 10. Now this one matters. There's 2 digits, so the first one goes here, and the 1 goes up here. 7 times 5 is 35. And since there's a 1 over here, you gotta add 35 plus 1, which is 36. And you place the 36 here. And then from here, you're just adding these 2 rows. So 4 plus 0 is basically 0 here. It's just 4. 4 plus 0 is again 4. 6 plus 1 is 7. And 3 is just left here. So 72 times 52 is 3,744. Now I'm going to do another problem with you, number 4, 75 times 92. It's the same process. Now we're going to start with the ones place. We always go from left to right. So we're going to start with and you always have to start from the bottom. So you're going to start from the bottom right corner. And you're going to multiply to the ones of the first number and then tens to the second number. So left to right, so 5 times 2 first, which is 10. Now this 0 will go down here while the 1 will go up here. Now 7 times 2 is 14. And you got to add the 1 over here, so it's 15. Since it's the last one, you just place it down here. And then since we already used this one, let's get rid of this so it does not confuse us in the next parts. Okay, next we have to deal with the 9, since we deal with the 2. So we go to 9 times 5, and then 9 times 7. So the same way that you did to the 2. Now, 9 times 5 is 45. So the 1 will go down here. The reason why I'm putting it in the tens place and not the ones place like I did for the 2 is because 9 is in the tens place. So you'll put the 5 in the tens place, and then you'll put the 4 up here on top of the next column. So 9 times 7 is 63, and you got to add the 4 over here, which is 67. And since it's the last one, you just place here. So now you can see the reason why I crossed the 1 is so it doesn't confuse you. So you don't accidentally do 9 times 7, 63 plus 1. Now from here, you just have to add these two numbers. So this is basically 0, so 0. 5 plus 5 is 10, 9, 6. So number 4 is 6,900. Now the last section we're going to go over is how to multiply 2 digit by 3 digit. So it's the same thing, except we just got to do extra steps. So we're going to do number 1 together. So it says 250 times 81. So always start from the bottom right, which in this case is a 1. And you're going to be multiplying this to 0. And then next you're going to multiply, so I'm going to color code it so it's easier. You're going to multiply 1 to 5. Then multiply multiply 1 to 2. So now let's start with the red. So 1 times 0 is 0. It's just one digit, so I just leave it down here. And then we're going to do the green, 1 times 5, which is 5. Next we're going to do 1 times 2, which is just 2. Now we're going to do the same thing. Except this time we're going to do it with the 8, since we already did the 1 over here. We're going to do it with the 8. Now the same color coding. So 8 times 0. And then 8 times 5 next. And then 8 times 2. So we're going to start with the red because we're going always from left to right. So 8 times 0 is 0. Now you place it in the tens place because 8 is in the tens place. The reason why we put the 0 for the 1 under the ones place is because 1 is in the ones place. So 8 times 0 is 0. Next we're going to do green, which is 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. So now we have a problem. We have a 2 digit over here. So 0 goes down here. And the 4 goes up here to the next column. Okay, I'm going to write the 4 in the blue, just to remind you that that goes with the blue. So 8 times 2 is 16. And then you got to add the 4 over here. So it'd be 20. So this is a 2 digit, but it does not matter because it's the last one, so we just place it like this. Now we just add these. Basically a 0 here. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. And then 0 and then 2. So you should get 20,250. And that's it for today.